Let's get to the losers.
Let's start losers.
Let's start with the Los Angeles Lakers. Official. Are they an official loser trade?
Hey,
what do
you
you think?
picked them.
I did. I did. Yeah, I think you go into the offseason and LeBron James says, all right, I'm coming back. And his agent says, listen, I know this 40-year-old guy is coming back, but he wants to win. Essentially, that's their statement. That's his statement. Is an agent publishes this thing that says, LeBron's good. He's coming back. He's good. He's going to be with you. But you know what? He's so good, he wants to win right here, right now. You start with that, and then what do you add? You add Jake LaRavia instead of Dorian Finney-Smith, who leaves. I've watched Jake LaRavia. I've watched him front Nikola Jokic. He gets after it. He can shoot the ball a little bit, but he ain't Dorian Finney-Smith. So they got weaker on the defensive end. There's no doubt about that. And we'll talk about Deandre Ayton in a second and what he can do. But just overall, when they made the Luka Doncic trade, the two things that we were looking for were better defense and a bigger team. They did not get better defensively, losing Dorian Finney-Smith, who can guard basically every position except 5, but he can guard everybody. Jake LaRavia is going to come in. I know he's Austin Reeves' bud, and he made the announcement that he was going to the Los Angeles Lakers while Austin Reeves was in the car with him, a front office sports, doing a little podcast with those two guys. Cool, but it doesn't mean he's a good basketball player, good enough of a basketball player to take LeBron James and Luka to another level. They're not a better defensive team than when they made the Luka Doncic trade. They're fine, but losing Dorian Finney-Smith hurts. And then we get into LeBron in general. We talked about it as soon as free agency happened and whether or not LeBron could possibly be moved after seeing the Rich Paul statement. I didn't buy it at first, but the more you look at it, I'm starting to believe it a tad bit more, just because LeBron may be playing his last season. This might be his last one, and maybe he wants to play somewhere else. The tough part is all the math, is getting a big enough contract coming back to the Los Angeles Lakers. Like what really good team is going to give up $40 million in salary to get LeBron? That means you're giving up a good player. So that's the puzzling part. But sitting here now, after watching what the Lakers did and we just talked about OKC, Denver, and Houston, and the really good teams in the Western Conference, the Lakers ain't anywhere close to that.
Yeah, and I agree. I don't think they are or have gotten closer to that, but I'm a minor zag on what the Lakers did. I do think Dorian Finney-Smith is the best player between him, LaRavia, and Deandre Ayton, but what the Lakers essentially did was turn DFS's contract into Jake LaRavia, who is 8 years younger, and Deandre Ayton, who's definitely better than Jackson Hayes.
Yes.
So if I'm a Lakers fan, I'm not necessarily happy, but I would say we got younger, we got more athletic, and we upgraded our weakest position. The next move for the Lakers is go and get Marvin Bagley, because it would be very funny to have the top 3 picks from the 2018 draft in Ayton, Bagley, and Luka. And guess what? Bagley would be helpful for the Lakers. He's a rim runner. He's a center. He's a fast guy. He is also an LA guy, so it'd be kind of like a meme signing, but I don't think it would hurt the Lakers. So yeah, I mean, not ideal for LA, just because this is a team that wants to bring in stars. They've got the LeBron thing hanging over their head. I'm with you. I doubt he gets traded, just because the teams that would want to trade for LeBron are teams that are theoretically in title contention and think he's the final piece to put them over the top, which means it's going to be hard for them to get enough contracts, enough money back to send to LA. And that's without factoring in things like whether that team may or may not be over the first or the second apron, what they're allowed to do. So yeah, the Lakers didn't have a great offseason. I think we're definitely seeing that this team is more tilted towards a Luka timeline than LeBron, because I don't know how LeBron says Jake LaRavia and Deandre Ayton here. Now we've got a chance in the Western Conference. But JJ Redick was playing 5 guys in a playoff game like 2 months ago, right? He played 4 of his 5 starters, like 24 minutes of the second half of a playoff game. They ran out of steam, and everybody was like, you can't do this, JJ. Now it's going to be funny to see him working with DeAndre Ayton and a guy who's not always the most, doesn't have the strongest motor at all times. Is probably going to drive JJ insane. But they turned one player into 2, both younger guys. I think that actually helps LA.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying. The problem is JJ Redick is going to ask DeAndre Ayton to run back on defense. He's going to ask him to set picks and work hard, and we don't know if that's going to happen. And I think that
Yes.
that is the puzzling part. Will DeAndre Ayton suddenly revert back to what he was with the Phoenix Suns and be who he was? That's the puzzling part. Now, you can say LeBron James has done that for NBA players in the past who weren't playing to their capability, and LeBron at the leading a locker room might be able to do that. That's possible, but you have an offense and defense, frankly, supported or ran around, I should say, LeBron and Luka. Defensively, you need guys who can guard everybody. I don't think Jake LaRavia can do that. DeAndre Ayton can't do that. and so, yeah, you kind of traded one for two guys because they didn't rely on Jackson Hayes to play.
They benched him.
They benched him. Now he may be the backup center. He may come back as the backup center. Now at least you have a guy that they're going to play, I guess. But there have been many coaches in NBA history, I mean a few, not many, that have said, DeAndre Ayton, nah, this ain't working. This isn't good. We're benching you like Monty Williams did with the Phoenix Suns. We got to bench you. We got to. So we'll see if they can do that. Now, 5 years ago, it's almost 5 years, when they went to the finals against the Milwaukee Bucks, he was good.
Yeah, he was good.
Yeah, so
You saw the Shams tweet putting up his playoff stats alongside the deal that he signed and not mentioning that he's there on basically a veteran's minimum because he decided to get bought out from his last contract. The bet on Ayton is weird. Like, nobody is anticipating him bouncing back to where he was with Phoenix, but this is a pretty decent scenario for him to be in. He played much better playing off stars and smart guys in Phoenix than he did in Portland, where there was a lot bigger expectations for him coming back in the Damian Lillard trade, kind of being the centerpiece there, even though Tumani Kamara ended up being the better get for the Blazers. So I'm not anticipating a lot from Ayton, but you look at the team, they're better than they were, I think, at the end of the season when they had 5 guys in the rotation.
I know we say Dorian Finney-Smith has been traded for 2 guys, or you sub him out for 2 guys, but Jake LaRavia has never been anywhere close to Dorian Finney-Smith. Is he going to be able to play 30 minutes a game? They're going to ask a lot of Jake LaRavia. He's never been that steady a player in the NBA. So I don't know.
Okay, but I mean, Ayton is how much better than Jackson Hayes?
Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely. So we'll see what JJ Redick is going to ask him to play hard and go close to the rim and be a repellent on the defensive end. We'll see if he can do that. Also to drive at the rim on the offensive end. I don't know. JJ Redick was just said, no, Jackson Hayes, you're out. We're going small. We're going 5 smalls. And now if that happens again, they don't have those guys. I thought they would have been better off with Dorian Finney-Smith over Jake LaRavia playing a small ball 5 or small ball 4 or whatever. So we'll see what Jake LaRavia can do. And we'll see the relationship between Redick and Ayton.
Look, when we're talking about how good Jake LaRavia and DeAndre Ayton can be, you can tell it's not a great offseason for the Lakers.
That's 100% true.